I got my 2 coffees here. Don't talk to me until I've had my 3 cups of coffee in the morning. It is so foggy outside right now. Alright, welcome back to March On. I'm your host, John Pruitt. And today's video, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm just going to go while I'm driving on my way to school to shoot a video. I just wanted to talk about veterans' mental health. And it stems from roots in the military. In the military, we're asked to do some stuff that we may not want to do. Obviously, it's stuff that we're asked to do that a civilian isn't normally asked to do, right? It's stuff that it's hard, and it may pay a price later down the road, in which I mean PTSD. You might purposely, consciously put yourself in a traumatic situation, knowing or unknowing that it might affect you later down the road. There's also stuff like just bottle up your feelings. No matter what you got going on in the military, you just got to bottle it up. Can't talk about it. Mental health you don't really talk about until you get out and you're mature enough to know that, hey, this is important. That's part of one of the reasons I made this channel, is to talk about mental health, because it's not talked about. I'm from Texas, and in the South, you never talk about your mental health. So even going into the military, I had this thing in the back of my head where, like, that's just stuff that I bottle. I don't deal with it at all. And it's unhealthy. Until I got out and got a therapist and started talking about the reasoning behind my actions, I didn't know what was going on. I started to get into therapy, and then I started listing stuff that's happened, and my therapist is like, well, yeah, that could be traumatic. And I'd list another thing, and that could be traumatic, and list another thing, and it just kept going. It was like, listen, I can deal with this stuff. I stayed strong or something. I can deal with this stuff. Like, it's fine. And she pointed me out and said, that's your problem right there. You think you can. And sure enough, I'm having like 3 panic attacks a week, and that's no way to live my life. And obviously I didn't know how to deal with any of that stuff. It's not unmasculine to deal with your emotions. If anything, it's emotional intelligence. I just recently got married, and something will be upsetting me, and me and my wife will get to talking about it, and I don't know the root of what is bothering me at the time. I'm just, it's gotten to the point I've realized it takes me about 3 days to think about it and to think back on that moment and identify what was bothering me and what emotion I was feeling at the time. Obviously I was upset, but I didn't know why. And I was sharing that with a buddy of mine, and he said, yeah, I do the same thing. It's from being in the Army or something. I was in the Navy, but apparently he goes through a similar thing, and one of you might find out that y'all are the same way. You have an emotion, you have no idea, you have no emotional intelligence, and then you're just sitting back, and you don't know until 3 days later what you were feeling. So now, since I got out of the Navy, had a laundry list of troubles rooting in undealt trauma. And that's another thing. Trauma could be anything. There's adults that are fine that had a traumatic event when they were younger. You know, two brothers, they could be twins. Two twins are born, go through the same experiences. You know, their dad is abusive and an alcoholic and beats them while they were younger. Well, one can become an alcoholic because that's all they know how to do. And then one can just not become an alcoholic and never touch alcohol. And the reasoning behind both these guys is the fact that their dad drank and beat them when they were younger. So it's just some people don't know how to deal with it, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So I had stuff that happened to me when I was younger. You know, I came from a great family, but just some stuff I guess was traumatic to me. And then I got in the Navy, and I definitely had some traumatic stuff happen to me. And then I didn't know how to deal with that. And then sure enough, I'm in Florida having panic attacks. And I had to figure out what was going on. And therapy is a big part of my testimony. I had a therapist that helped me through a bunch of stuff. I've had a few videos so far on this channel tied to veterans and feeling alone, because that seems to be the root. That seems to be the common denominator here. Is when you get out, you go from a brotherhood to feeling alone. And it should not be that way. How I dealt with my stuff was drinking. I got into the Navy. I wanted to be a Navy diver. I spent I spent a few years preparing physically to be a Navy diver. I was solid mentally, and I failed. I passed out in the pool, and then I had a NJP, a captain's mass, later on after I re-rated to another rate in the Navy. So because of that captain's mass, I couldn't go back to Navy diver and try it out again. And I felt like a failure. I never failed anything in my life. I don't know if that was traumatic or what, but I ended up in a MOS that I didn't want to do. I wasn't surrounded by the community I wanted to be surrounded by. And I would just go to work, come home, drink myself to sleep, wake up probably on the floor, and then go back to work. It was irresponsible, and it was selfish, and it was me playing the victim card. When I put myself in that situation, you know, if you've ever hit the bottom of the line, the bottom of the barrel, the rock bottom, if you ever reach that point in your life, you've got yourself in that situation. And it takes a moment of clarity and realization to see the situation you're in and to know that you got yourself in that situation. You know, since getting out of the Navy, even in the Navy, we got new guys coming in. They're like 19, irresponsible. Of course, I'm still irresponsible, but they wouldn't be men. They wouldn't be solid foundation men with responsibilities. And I don't know what it is about my generation. I'm 28 right now, but they're it's a rare breed. It is rare to find men that act like men nowadays. I think the military is one of the best things you can do to a to a young man growing up. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Please subscribe or do whatever, all the YouTube stuff. I just figured I'd change it up today because all my previous videos have been scripted, and I know I could rant about stuff if I really wanted to, and the camera was on me. So this has been I think I'm going to call it truck rants. If that's not already a thing, I bet that's already a thing. But anyways, this is March On. I'm John Pruitt. Y'all have a good one. Stay strong. Y'all aren't alone. Reach out to me if you have to. I'll do my best to respond. Godspeed.